Regular meeting of the City Council is being held in person on Thursday, January 23rd, 2025 at 7 p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice of this meeting was posted on January 21st, 2025 at 2:32 p.m. This meeting is being recorded and is live on SATV and Zoom unless technology issues interrupt the transmission. Council is absent. None. Council had Hapworth votes to dispense with the reading of the record of the previous meeting. Will we all stand, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilor Varela.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Salem City Council honors that this land is Nomkang, or fishing place where generations of Nomkang people from the Pawtucket Band of the Massachusetts tribe lived and passed through for centuries. We acknowledge that this is unceded indigenous land and also acknowledge the Massachusetts tribe who continue to honor and hold this land into the present. Salem City Council is committed to having ongoing meaningful dialogue with the indigenous peoples who have presence in Salem in order to dismantle the legacies of oppression and inequities that persist today. Public testimony. Public testimony is not to exceed 15 minutes. We do have one person signed up for public testimony, so that person will have the full 3 minutes of public testimony. Is that person present? Could you please come up to the podium and state your, if you'd like, you can state your name and address, please.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Katie Jalapa, and I live in the apartment building at 70 Boston Street in Ward 6. And as a resident of Salem and a renter, I want to voice my strong support for implementing real estate transfer fees as proposed and laid out in today's City Council meeting agenda. While my understanding of the city budget isn't perfect, a common concern that I've heard repeated in several public meetings by the mayor and city councilors is that the avenues for the city to generate revenue are extremely limited. I attended the strategic planning retreat that took place earlier this month, and a major takeaway I had from that public meeting was that the city budget for the next fiscal year is going to be particularly challenging. Given the political situation at the federal level, I think it is reasonable to expect this will be the case for some time to come. To address this reality, I believe that the city needs to move forward with every available opportunity to raise revenue in an equitable manner to ensure that the budget and the services provided by the city are not in jeopardy. To that end, I strongly recommend that the council advance the process to implement real estate transfer fees. In addition, I encourage the city to examine other potential sources of revenue to help fund necessary programs and initiatives to combat the challenging fiscal years ahead. Parking benefit districts are one such opportunity that the city should not just study, but practically explore, that can provide the city with the necessary revenue to expand services like the Salem Skipper and the Blue Bikes program. Expanding these programs will work to increase access to transportation, reduce traffic in our downtown core, boost revenue for local businesses, and it will make small but meaningful progress to reduce the carbon emissions by the city. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you. No further public testimony. Hearings, none. Appointments and reappointments.
We have held from the last meeting the mayor's appointment of James Rogers to the Council on Aging Board with a term to expire on January 8th, 2028.
Councilor Watson-Feld.
Thank you, President Presnowski. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Councilor Watson-Feld moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
No discussion, just our personal thanks to James for his willingness to serve as a volunteer.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President Presnowski. Personally know James, and James, I really appreciate James for always willing to put himself out there and help our community, and I'm really looking forward to his voice on this appointment. Thank you, James.
Any further discussion? Councilor Watson-Feld.
Just a motion to suspend the rules so that James can speak. Oh, after the vote. You have to vote first. Never mind. But then I'm going to vote. I'm going to move that we suspend the rules.
And you'll get that.
Thanks.
Madam Clerk, on the appointment of James Rogers to the Council of Aging Board, would you please call the roll?
Council Watson-Felt?
Yes.
Council Varela?
Yes.
Council Stott?
Yes.
Council Masillo?
Yes.
Council Merkel?
Yes.
Council Gerslow?
Yes.
Council Harvey?
Yes.
Council Hepworth? Council Davis?
Yes.
Council Cohen?
Yes.
And Council Krasniewski.
Yes. On the matter of the appointment of Mr. James Rogers to the Council on Aging, 11 votes in the yeas, none in the nays. Congratulations, Mr. Rogers. Now, Councilor Watson-Felt votes to suspend the rules.
I do.
So-
Well, I motion to suspend
Motion
the
to
rules.
the rules
Thank you.
so that Mr. Rogers can speak to us. Thank you.
Well, good evening. My name is James Rogers, for everyone that's here. I'd like to thank first Mayor Pangalo for the appointment, and now thank council for the approval of that. I'd also like to thank the Council on Aging and Terry Arnold for the volunteer opportunities that they provided for me over the last 10 years and allowing me to create my own programs over there. I'm very excited and grateful for this role to serve our community, and I look forward to the continued positive growth and strengthening of the Council on Aging, not only on paper, but physically at the Community Life Center. And of course, shameless self-promotion here, I look forward to seeing every single one of you at a barbecue, a picnic, programming. Just come by, say hi. We'd love to see you, and I hope you have a productive session for the rest of today and for the year. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have held from the last meeting the mayor's appointment of the following to the Salem Youth Commission with terms set forth below.
Council Varela.
Thank you, President Krasniewski. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Council Varela moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Under discussion.
Thank you, President Krasniewski. Other than thank you for everyone in the Salem Youth Commission for these terms and actually willing to be a part of one of our city boards. So I deeply appreciate it, and thank you so much.
Any further discussion? Councilor Cohen.
Thank you, President Krasniewski. Really excited that the Youth Commission is coming back. When I ran the Human Rights Coalition, the Youth Commission used to come and actually run our meetings. And not only looking forward to what you're going to do this year, but all of you running for office so you can sit in these seats someday.
Thank you. Further discussion? Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Krasniewski. I also want to say how wonderful it is always to see young people in the chambers and seeing you get involved, and so excited, as Councilor Cohen said, to see the Youth Commission coming back. And I also know one of the youth really well. This is going to just be a great and exciting experience for Salem. Thank you.
Thank you. On the matter of the mayor's appointments to the Salem Youth Commission, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Cohen and Council Krasniewski.
Yes. On the matter of the mayor's appointments to the Salem Youth Commission, 11 yeas, no nays. Matter carries. Council Varela.
Thank you, President Krasniewski. I'd like to suspend the rules if any of our new commissioners would like to come up and speak, if you may.
In alphabetical order.
Seeing no objection. Absolutely, Sarah.
Youth Commissioners, if you wouldn't mind joining me up here, I'd like to invite you to stand along with me. And we're missing a couple of them in person this evening due to scheduling conflicts, as teenagers have. For those of you who don't know me, I am Sarah Roy. I'm the director of the Salem Children's Alliance, and I'm a member of the mayor's team. Prior to this journey, I was a school counselor here in Salem. So I'm fortunate to work with these powerful young people once again. And a couple of them, Miles and Oksana, were actually my students at Salem Academy. So it's really exciting to see them taking on leadership roles in our community. And to the Youth Commission, I want to say directly to you, your voice matters more than ever right now. This is a really crucial time for us as a nation in digging into your community and creating positive changes when and how you can is more important than ever. And I feel really fortunate to walk alongside of you as we discover what your priorities are and how we can really kind of create a little revolution here in Salem. So I invite anybody to talk if you would like, but I would also like to introduce the youth commissioners by name, if I may, because I think it's really important for them to have a chance to introduce themselves. So I'm actually going to have each one of you come up and say your name and where you attend school. We'll start with Miles.
My name is Miles Newsome. I'm a junior in high school and I go to Salem Academy Charter School.
Hello, my name is Giwen Schulz and I attend Salem High School.
Hi, my name is Kayla Fry and I attend Salem High School. I'm Annie Thornett and I go to Salem High School. Hi, my name is Alexia Coleman and I go to Salem High School and I just wanted to say thank you. I'm Will Keogh. I go to the Academy at Penguin Hall and I'm also very excited to be here.
My name is Oksana Platonova, and I go to Salem Academy Charter School.
I'm Deborah Cornell, and I go to Salem High.
Thank you all. Good luck on your journey. Madam Clerk, further appointments and reappointments.
We've held from the last meeting the mayor's appointment of the following to the City Seal Task Force with the terms to expire January 8th, 2027.
Councilor Barella.
Thank you, President Prosnowski. I'd like to split the question and take up Rachel Tonthat, appointee, up separately. If we could do Rachel first, I'd appreciate it.
Let the record show that Councilor Cohen has excused himself. Councilor Barella moves. Confirmation by roll call vote. And the discussion.
Thank you, President Prosnowski. Before we take a vote on this, I'd also like to recognize we also have for the task force 4 associate members as well. These members are not alternate members and they're not voting members, but they may still participate in meetings and discussions. These appointments are Aaron Marcianak, Dakota Russell, Colby Bomberowitz, and Dr. Miyabi Shields. And after we do take up the appointments, I would also possibly like the opportunity to suspend the rules for even the appointments that are not, they're just associate members to speak as well. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On the appointments to the mayor's task force, for the city seal that expires January 8th, 2027. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
This is for Rachel.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's right. With the exception of Rachel.
This is just for Rachel.
This is just for Rachel, okay. The appointment of Rachel Tontat to the Mayor's Task Force on the City Seal to expire in January 8th, 2027. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counsel Watson Felt,
Yes.
Counsel Varela,
Yes.
Counsel Stott,
Yes.
Counsel Marcillo,
Yes.
Counsel Merkel,
Yes.
Counsel Jerslow,
Yes.
Counsel Harvey,
Yes.
Counsel Hapworth,
Yes.
Counsel Davis,
Yes.
Counsel Cohen. Oh, sorry. And Counsel Prosnewski.
Yes, yes. On the appointment of Rachel Tontat to the Mayor's Task Force for the City Seal, 10 members present, 1 is recused. Vote carries 10-0. Yeah. Council Varela.
Thank you, President Presnowski. I'd like to suspend the rules to allow Ms. Tontat to speak.
Seeing no objection, Ms. Tontat.
Selecting me. When I spoke before you months ago, I was just longing for this moment where we could all work together, and I'm so glad that we have the time.
Thank you. Council Varela.
Thank you, President Presnowski. I'd like to go back in order and appoint or take up the appointments of the other commissioners.
Under discussion.
No discussion other than thank you for your willingness to serve.
You wish to say the names of those that are appointed?
Yes, so we have Aditi. We have Aditi Alawat, Suzanne Barnes, Puchi Wong, Mr. Michael R. Feener, which I believe is in Japan, VJ Joyce, and yeah.
And the further discussion, Councilor Cohen.
Thank you, President Prosnowski. I had an opportunity to talk to all the people I hadn't known before, and even the ones I did, including Professor Feener, who was in Japan. And I'm really looking forward to this, not just being a discussion about the seal, but about really an expansive look at the AAPI community in Salem, what they mean to our community, and how things might affect them. And I think in general, they're a really super open-minded group, and I think they're all looking forward to learning from each other.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, I believe we're, Council Varela, we should suspend the rules for anyone else to, oh, I'm sorry, the roll call vote.
Counsel Watson Felt,
Yes.
Counsel Varela,
Yes.
Counsel Stott,
Yes.
Counsel Marcillo,
Yes.
Counsel Merkel,
Yes.
Counsel Jerslow,
Yes.
Counsel Harvey,
Yes.
Counsel Hapworth,
Yes.
Counsel Davis,
Yes.
Counsel Cohen,
Yes.
and Counsel Prosnewski.
Yes. On the matter of the further appointees to the Mayor's City Seal Task Force, 11 members present, 11 yeas, 0 nays. Matter carries. Thank you. Council Varela.
Thank you, President Presnowski. I'd like to suspend the rules to allow the newly appointed commissioners to speak, as well as the associate commissioners if they will choose.
If someone would like to take the podium, no, seeing no objection, someone would like to take the podium?
Hi, my name is Aditi. I'm a psychologist and submitted an application, and I'm really grateful for this opportunity to have this conversation and learn from each other. I'm very excited that we get to do this and in the due process and learn more about our community and contribute to Salem. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anyone else want to take the podium that is in chambers?
Hi, my name is Colby Bombero. I'm in Chambers, and I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity. I'm really looking forward to this evolution in the SEAL and this community that we're building together, and especially want to thank you for being mindful of diversity, equity, inclusion, access. It's really meaningful, especially to this vibrant community that we have today. And I'm looking forward to seeing the results and being a part of the history of that. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Pucci. It's nice to meet you all. I'm relatively new to Salem and really excited for the opportunity to be part of this really important dialogue. Following up on Aditi, what he said, it's going to be hard to follow up on, but yeah, I'm excited to get into the work. Thank you.
So my name's Suzanne Barnes, and I'm a professor emerita at Massachusetts College of Art and Design, where I taught in the illustration department for 33 years. I've been a Salem resident since 1991. I lived at Pleasant Street for 7 years, Federal Street for 15 years, and Summer Street for 12 years. Illustration is a powerful narrative medium. Our city seal is a beautiful illustration. I love the delicacy of the watercolor and the serene palette. Yet cultural perspectives have changed since 1839 when the design was conceived, and opportunities for thoughtful contemporary representation that also bring forth the beauty and the history of Salem will be exciting to explore.
Thank you. Anyone else in chambers that would like to speak?
Since Jeff's waving me up, I'm Dakota Russell. Most of you know me as the executive director at the House of the Seven Gables. This is something that's really meaningful for me. I think that tradition matters, but representation also matters. The symbols that we choose to represent ourselves matter. And so I'm really excited to be a part of this conversation.
I'm Dr. Miyabi Shields, and I'm excited to also be involved in this conversation because there's a lot of things that we have to be proud of here, not just in Salem and Massachusetts and everywhere in America. There's still a lot to be proud of, but there's also a lot that we have to revisit. And the history has always been told by the victors. And I think that's something that all of us need to consider, especially with the deep history that we have with colonialism here. And I'm really, really excited that everyone's open to at least learning more about what happened before we adopted this city seal and the context with which we can put the imagery of another nation on there, and then the waves and ripples that that makes in Asian Americans today and as we move forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in chambers? I believe we have Sir Michael Feener on Zoom, I'm guessing from Japan. Professor, go ahead.
Yes, hello, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, I'm a native of Salem, but I live in Japan. I'm actually calling today from the Maldives with where some Achinese colleagues and I have been working on and off for the past 8 years. I'm really honored to have gotten an appointment to this committee, and I'm really looking forward to working with this remarkable group of people who just spoke. I am also just recently, last month, back from a trip to Aceh where I was able to spend about 2.5 weeks with some old friends there who are very excited also to hear that there's new discussions of the seal going on in Salem. And they really asked me and urged me to help to find a way to be able to let their voices from Aceh be heard in the conversations we'll be having over the coming months.
Thank you, Mr. Feener.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any further discussion? I believe we took a roll call vote, right, Madam Clerk? Okay. No No further discussion, seeing none, further appointments and reappointments. Thank you all for attending, by the way.
With the mayor's appointments are the following with their terms to expire.
Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President Prosniewski. I move that this be held under the rules.
Councilor Varela moves that this be held under the rules. Any discussion?
No discussion.
Seeing none, on the matter of the mayor's appointments, as noted, on the mayor's appointments, as so noted, all those in favor? All opposed? Matter carries. Further appointments and reappointments.
With the mayor's reappointment of the following, there's a long list with their terms to expire.
Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President Brzezinski. I'd like this be held under the rules as well.
Councilor Varela would like this held under the rules. Any objection? Any discussion? All those in favor of holding this matter under the rules? So, I see 10 hands, all vote, 11 hands, including mine, all voted. Communications from the mayor.
We've in order that the sum of $225,203.61 is hereby appropriated from the Human Resources Collective Bargaining Salary Reserve Account to the Human Resources Retro Wages Account for the fiscal year 2025 retroactive wages for pay increases pursuant to the contract settlements reached with the local 172 IAFF Salem firefighters effective July 1st, 2024.
Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Prosniewski. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Merkel votes for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councilor Merkel.
Thank you. I move for adoption.
Councilor Merkel moves for adoption. Under discussion.
I guess these are contractual obligations.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Merkel's motion to adopt the order with the sum of $225,203.61 for the fiscal year 2025 retroactive wages pay increases for the Salem firefighters. All those in favor? All those opposed? Seeing none, matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $222,500 previously appropriated in fiscal year 2025 within the capital outlay account for Artist Row roof replacement project is hereby repurposed to capital outlay account Old Town Hall roof repair to support the full completion of Old Town Hall restoration phase.
Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Prosniewski. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Merkel votes for suspension of the rules. Under discussion.
Thank you. I move for adoption.
Councilor Merkel moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, President Prosniewski. Yes, as the order states, this is to complete the Town Hall exterior preservation project. The contractor on this project will be starting within a month, and it's anticipated to be completed by June 30th of this year. And for some background, the Artist Row work still does need to be done, but the final scope of that work hasn't been completed. And we had this opportunity now to complete the roof part of the Old Town Hall work and save us money. So that is why this has been reallocated. There's more about that in the backup documentation, pages 16, 18. And I also, just speaking with Anna Friedman, and then I spoke with Tom Daniels, and this should be it for this exterior work. This should be the last appropriation. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President Sprodnitsky. Through you to Councilor Merkel, was there still an obligation to fix the roof of Artist Row? I just want to make sure that that's not lost in the next couple of years when it comes to what's happening in the city.
Yes, there is information about that in the backup documentation, and also it was a verbal conversation I had with both conversations with Anna and with Tom Daniels, and that work still does need to be done. It was just because the scope of the work hadn't been completed, and putting the current work at Old Town Hall, having that done together saved money, and the other work on the Artist Road, just like I said, the final scope of that work hasn't been hashed out. So that is why. But yes, there is a commitment for Artist Row, is my understanding.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On Councilor Merkel's motion that the sum of $222,500 be repurposed for the Old Town Hall roof repairs. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $218,909.77 is hereby appropriated from the Human Resource Department salary, excuse me, collective bargaining reserve account to the accounts listed below to fund the fiscal year 2025 pay increases associated with the memorandum agreement reached Local 172 IAFF Salem firefighters effective July 1st, 2024.
Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Prosnowski. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Merkel moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing none.
Thank you. Thank you, President Prosnowski. I move for adoption.
Councilor Merkel moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Yes, these are, again, are contractual obligations, and that we saw two separate appropriation agenda items for the fire department. Of note is these are separate orders because the previous order that was two agenda items back was for retroactive wages, and this is for compensation moving forward. I just thought that was of interest. Why there's two different ones.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On Councilor Merkel's motion to order that the sum of $218,909.70 be appropriated to fund pay increase associated with the memorandum of agreement reached by the firefighters union. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the sum of $80,000 is hereby appropriated within the capital outlay account to fund bollard installation design plans on the Essex Street pedestrian mall.
Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Prosnowski. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Merkel moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councilor Merkel.
Thank you. I move to refer this to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
Councilor Merkel's moves to refer this matter to the Administrative Finance Committee in addition to the Council of the Whole. The matter is the $80,000 appropriated to fund the bollard installation design plans on the Essex Street pedestrian mall. Discussion?
Yes, thank you. Yes, these funds would go towards creating design plans for not only bollards, but also other barriers on the pedestrian mall for controlling traffic and protecting pedestrians and enhancing security. And then with the cost estimates, the city can move forward implementing the enhanced safety measures. There is more information on the backup documentation, but it's it's $80,000, so it would be helpful to have more information. We will be having the meeting. I'll be scheduling a meeting promptly because it is time sensitive. It seems like a long time out before September, but we will get moving on that. But it would be helpful to hear. I'll ask for information from Chief Miller and Dave Kucharski for that meeting as well. Thank you.
Any further discussion? I believe this is the beginning of enhanced security efforts based on what's been happening around the world. So on the matter that $80,000, I'm sorry. Councilor Stott.
Thank you, President Prosnowski. I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate this being referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance, and I'm looking forward to the discussion. And I don't have to lay out all of the comments I was going to make here tonight. I'll save them for the meeting. As we all know, one of my favorite topics are vehicles traveling down the pedestrian way. Don't make me say fence, I won't. So I'm excited to have that conversation. I don't think there was definitely not enough information provided in the backup documentation. And I have a lot of questions around how the prioritization of the design is going to be decided and who is going to be deciding that, as well as $80,000 is a lot of money for just coming up with a design. So I appreciate having that conversation and hopefully having some of those questions answered in committee.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Prosnewski, and I'm certainly open for suggestions of who councilors would like to see invited to that meeting as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion? On Councilor Merkel's motion that $80,000 be appropriated for the installation of bollards on the Essex Street pedestrian wall, and it be referred to the Committee of Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. All those in favor? Opposed? Carries. Further communications to the mayor.
We've an order for an act relative to real estate transfer fee in the city of Salem.
Councilor Hapworth.
Waive the reading. Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption by roll. I'm sorry. I move to refer to the Committee on Community and Economic Development.
Councilor Hapworth moves to
co-posted.
First, the matter be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs.
Yep.
Community and Economic Development. I changed this, sorry.
I'm sorry. Change to what, Councilor? Okay. Community and change the Community and Economic Development co-posted with the Council of the Whole. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just for the folks at home, this is a home rule petition that seeks legislative approval to establish a 2% real estate transfer fee on property sales exceeding $1 million. This proposal is a recommendation in our housing roadmap designed to create a dedicated revenue stream for affordable housing. The fee would only apply to a portion of the property's sale above $1 million and would be paid by the seller, with exemptions for transfers involving affordable housing developments, government entities, and small administrative transactions. At least 25% of the funds generated would go directly to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, supporting initiatives like building and preserving affordable units and providing housing assistance to residents in need. The remaining funds would go to the General Fund, Capital Fund, or Affordable Housing Trust Fund. The $1 million threshold will increase annually by 2%. And this approach ensures that those benefiting the most from our robust real estate market contribute to addressing the affordability crisis impacting so many in our community.
Any further discussion? Councilor Davis.
Thank you, President Prosnewski. Couldn't be more supportive of this. In my belief, this was the most transformational part of the state housing bond bill. Was very disappointed to see it taken out. This is a tool that's been used to raise a lot of revenue by a lot of communities, and I hope that we are able to take advantage of it. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On the matter of the act relative to the real estate transfer fee in the city of Salem, be moved to the Committee and Development Committee, co-posted with the Council of the Whole. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order for an act relative to the composition of the licensing board for the city of Salem.
Councilor Watson-Felt.
Waive the reading.
Thank you, President Prosnewski. I move that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
Councilor Watson-Felt moves that it be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Councilor Cohen.
Thank you, President Prosnewski. So the licensing board currently is limited to 3 people, and they meet often, sometimes twice a month. And many establishments in Salem and others are reliant on their vote. And by creating an alternate, this enables, if someone can't make the meeting for whatever reason, that they can make a quorum and still do their business, which, can be problematic at times, especially with a committee of that size. It's the only committee we have that's less than 5 people, I believe, in the whole city.
Any further discussion? Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President Brzezinski. I couldn't agree more and like to echo the sentiments of Councilor Cohen. Having 3 members on the licensing board is very problematic, and looking forward to having a little more members. It's the one board that a lot of our businesses hinge on, and it's something that we have to change. So I appreciate this coming forward.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Councilor Watson-Phillips, motion to refer the matter of the composition of the licensing board to the Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs co-posted. The council of the whole. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an order that the mayor is hereby authorized on behalf of the city of Salem to enter into a contract for a period beyond 3 years for the services of an operator of the city's bike share program commencing in 2026.
Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councilor Hapworth moves for adoption. Seeing no objection. Under discussion.
If anyone would like to discuss this in committee, we can absolutely send this to committee. I'm comfortable with it. I feel comfortable offering adoption. This order authorizes the city of Salem to enter into a contract exceeding 3 years for the operation of blue bikes. Beginning in 2026, as required by Mass General Law, the Metropolitan Area Planning Council will issue a request for proposals to select one operator for the regional bike share bike system, which includes 13 participating municipalities. Salem will then have the option to contract with the selected operator for a 5-year term, and with 2 potential 5-year extensions. Since launching in 2021, Blue Bikes has logged over 40,000 rides in Salem.
Any other discussion? Seeing none. On the matter that the mayor authorized on behalf of the city of Salem to enter into contract for a period beyond 3 years for the services of an operator of the city's bike share program commencing in 2026. Councilor Hapworth moves for adoption. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications of the mayor.
We have an order that the city of Salem hereby accepts Chapter 339 of the Massachusetts Acts of 2024, enabling the city to install and operate a school bus violation detection monitoring system on a school bus to enforce violations pursuant to Sections 14 and 14C of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 90.
Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, President. I very enthusiastically move for adoption.
Councilor Marcello enthusiastically moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, President. So this is what we need to do in order to allow the cameras on the stop arms of the school buses. It also needs to be approved by the school committee. Again, this is just video that then will be sent to the police department, and they will have someone on their staff review the video and determine if a violation occurred. They will then send out the violation notice and take care of any appeals the way normal tickets are appealed. I will be offering later in the meeting in order to receive data from the police department to better understand how the whole process is working and how many tickets are coming through, but I'll talk about that later.
Any further discussion? Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Brzezinski. I enthusiastically support this.
Any further discussion? I believe this is the beginning of something that may be an important aspect, just the tip of the iceberg in helping with the traffic situations in the Salem, having the state approve having camera systems at our intersection as a whole new tool in the ability of our people to be educated and understand that they have to follow the traffic laws. I'm on Councilor Rosillo's motion that the city of Salem hereby accept Chapter 339 enabling the city to install and operate school bus violation detection. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further communications from the mayor.
We have a resolution regarding International Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Councilor Cohen.
Thank you, President Prosnowski. Whereas 6 million Jews were systematically murdered by Nazi Germany and their collaborators from 1933 to 1945, and millions of others deemed by the Nazis as unworthy of life were swept into this abyss, suffering torture and death. And whereas the history of the Holocaust offers an opportunity to reflect on the moral responsibilities of individuals, societies, and governments. And whereas January 2025 marks the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II and the liberation of the Auschwitz-Birkenau concentration camps by Soviet troops. And whereas January 27th has been designated by the United Nations as International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And whereas it is appropriate for the residents of Salem to join in this commemoration with the United States Holocaust Museum, the nation's Center for Learning and Remembrance of the Holocaust. Now, therefore, we, the mayor and city council of the city of Salem, Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim January 27, 2025 to be International Holocaust Remembrance Day in the city of Salem to honor the memory of those victims and in the hope that our world will continue striving to overcome prejudice, inhumanity, intolerance, and indifference through learning, remembrance, and a shared dedication to compassion and justice. And I move this is adopted by roll call vote.
Councilor Cohen moves that this resolution be adopted by roll call vote under discussion. Councilor Cohen.
Thank you, President Prosnowski. Learning about history enables us to not repeat that which is heinous and inhumane. However, it's imperative that we teach history to learn from it. A Pew study in 2021 surveying America's high school students nationwide found that 50% didn't know what the Holocaust was. That so many don't know what Sieg Heil or Hitler's salutes are should disturb us all, as should the growing neo-Nazi white supremacist movements that are emboldened in our country by a lack of understanding of what happens under a fascist state. 6 million Jews were exterminated, about 1/3 of the world's population at that time of Jews. But another 3 million were killed as well, as the resolution says, including many Blacks and people who actually practiced religions that were different from what the Germans did. From a personal perspective, one thing I've learned is that classical music, which really had its foundation in Germany, was recognized because of the structure of it. And therefore, jazz genre was actually prohibited because it was symbolic of freedom. So this shouldn't just be a resolution, but a call to action for all of us to stand up for those who are vulnerable in our society.
Any further discussion? I had the opportunity to visit Auschwitz a few years ago. And I can tell you that walking through there changes you completely. You've seen it on TV, you've seen it in the movies, but when you're actually there standing there in the atmosphere, under the same skies, the same sunlight, the same standing on the same grass, in the same place, where thousands and thousands of people walked down a path to what they thought was going to be showers for a relocation center, which actually happened to be nothing but a Hollywood studio set up by the Nazis. 1 mile square, barracks after barracks, all empty. All empty. It was a facade. All to fool the people that were getting off the trains that they were being relocated. It was time for them to get processed and go to those barracks, which stayed empty forever. They walked into what they thought were showers, and they died. There's a pond behind the two gas chambers. That's a steel gray color. The color comes from the ashes of all those that are buried in that pond. You walk away feeling completely different and with a whole new view of what we as people can do to other people. You come away taking that, you pray that nothing like this ever happens again, but that history never repeats itself. So with that said, all those in favor of the doc, I'm sorry. Further discussion, Councilor Watson-Felt.
Sorry, President Presnowski, I should have put my hand up before you made your beautiful speech. I apologize. I want to echo something that Councilor Cohen said, because I have been thinking a lot about it. I always think a lot about it, but in the most recent days, which is that these resolutions and this confirmation of our commitment to be just and seek justice is a call to action. It is not just pretty words on a paper. And we find ourselves increasingly every day called to protect and defend our neighbors. And when I think back on the Holocaust and the history that I have learned, so much of it has to do with the apathy and the silence of neighbors who did not step into action to protect and to defend. And so that is a shared accountability in this world. That is all of our jobs. None of us are free until all of us are free. And we need to be active, action-oriented, and not ever apathetic in the face of injustice. And I appreciate this resolution, and I appreciate the remarks made, because action has got to be at the center of our promise. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? On Councilor Cohen's motion, this be adopted by roll call vote that the resolution, that the matter of adopting the resolution that January 27th be proclaimed as International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Watson-Felt?
Yes.
Councilor Varela?
Yes.
Councilor Stott?
Yes.
Councilor Marcillo?
Yes.
Councilor Merkel?
Yes.
Councilor Jerslow?
Yes.
Councilor Harvey?
Yes.
Councilor Hapworth?
Yes.
Councilor Davis?
Yes.
Councilor Cohen? And Councilor Presnowski.
Yes. On the matter of the resolution of the International Holocaust Remembrance Day being January 27th, matter carries 11 to 9. Mayor's informational page done. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Cohen.
Thank you, President Presnowski. In the year 2025, an ordinance relative to traffic be ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap zones limited time shall be amended by adding Wisteria Street in front of number 23, Wisteria Street, running south for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking only tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter. I move this adopted for first passage.
Councilor Cohen moves this matter be adopted for first passage. Under discussion.
Thank you, President Presnowski. There's quite a few multifamilies on the street and not a lot of parking availability. And just a reminder that handicap parking is not specific for one person. It could be for anyone who's got a placard. And so, yeah, that's it.
Councilor Cohen moves for first passage. The handicap zone in front of 23 Wisteria Street. All those in favor? Opposed? And it carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Posnewski. City of Salem, January 23rd, ordered that the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to review the compensation of the mayor relative to Chapter 2, Section 142, that during the first 3 months of the City Council's biennial organization, the matter of the mayor's compensation shall be reviewed and a recommendation reported to the City Council no later than the first meeting in April. The committee shall recommend the salary of the mayor for the subsequent 2 fiscal years, and I move for adoption.
Councilor Merkel moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, President Posnewski. Since it's going to committee, no discussion.
On Council's motion, move the matter into the Committee of Administration and Finance, the matter being the compensation of the mayor. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. For the motions, orders, and resolutions, Councilor Merkel.
Thank you, President Posnewski. City of Salem, January 23rd, ordered that the fiscal year 2024 monthly financial reports dated June 2024 and July 2024 of the fiscal year 2025, monthly financial reports dated August to November 2024 be received and filed.
On Councilor Merkel's move for adoption. Under discussion.
No discussion.
On Councilor Merkel's motion to adopt, receive, and file the monthly financial reports. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. For the motions, orders, and resolutions, Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, President. In the year 2025, an ordinance relative to traffic be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Section 51 of Article 5 be amended by repealing the following. Wilson Street parking prohibited on certain streets from Jefferson Avenue, both sides, for a distance of 50 feet. Section 2, Section 74 of Article 5-A be amended by inserting the following. Wilson Street, general prohibition, towing zones, southerly side, beginning from the intersection with Jefferson Avenue and extending to a point approximately 110 feet west of the intersection. Wilson Street, general prohibition, towing zones, northerly side, beginning at the intersection with Jefferson Avenue and extending to a point approximately 145 feet west of the intersection. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by city charter, and I move for adoption for first passage.
Councilor Marcillo moves for adoption for first passage. Under discussion.
Thank you, President. This is part of the safety improvements being made at the Jefferson and Wilson intersection. There's still a few things that they need to work out. This being one of them, that there was no parking prohibition when they painted the right turn lane in. I also think that it needs to be modified a little bit, but I just saw that today. So maybe next week or in 2 weeks, we'll bring back an amendment for that. But I hope people are able to go through the intersection safely. It still needs to get the signs up for the no turn on red, which we approved in November. Those are missing. And there's a few things, like there's stop sign is still there, but generally I think things are going better and we just need to do a few little bookkeeping things like this, no parking on both sides.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Marcillo's motion, first passage on the changes on Wilson Street. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. The motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Stott.
Thank you, President.
Waive the reading.
City of Salem, January 23rd, 2025, ordered that the Committee on Government Services co-post it with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss the home rule petition below relative to an act establishing a Board of Election Commissioners in the City of Salem, and I move for adoption.
Councilor Stott moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, President Presnewski. So we actually have a matter in government services currently to discuss the process involved and steps needed to create an election commission. We met
I believe twice last year around this time, actually, to get the ball rolling. One of the first items needed is a home rule petition. And the mayor at the time, had concerns around budget, org chart questions, and start date, effective date. So we have a lot of those details worked out, comfortable with the home rule petition that actually, as you can see in front of you, is dated for a start date of July 1st, 2026. But for transparency, wanted to make sure that this full home rule petition was on the agenda this evening, and will be referred to the committee to have the robust conversation to kind of get this one over the finish line and start the process of the home rule petition at the state level.
Any further discussion? Council Varela.
Thank you, President Brosnowski, and thank you, Councilor Stott, for the final push on this. So I did have an opportunity to speak to the clerk's office, looking to schedule a meeting as soon as possible with the with the Board of Registrars about this so that we can continue and finalize this discussion, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On Councilor Stott's motion to adopt that the Committee Government Services co-posted with the Committee of the Whole meet to discuss the home rule petition. All those in favor? Opposed? Matter carries. For the motions, orders, and resolutions, Council Varela.
Thank you, President President. City of Salem, January 23rd, 2025, ordered that the Committee on Ordinances, Licensing, Legal Affairs meet to discuss the draft home rule petition, occupation zoning ordinance below. Waive the reading. Thank you so much. You're gonna make me do that. It's like punishment. And I move for this be referred to, I move for adoption that this be referred to the Committee on Ordinance, Licensing, and Legal Affairs. So move to refer, but the order is to adopt.
Councilor Varela moves for the adoption and to refer it to the committee. We're just referring it to the committee, correct? Okay. Councilor Varela moves that this matter be moved to the Committee of Ordinances, Licenses, Legal Affairs. Further
apologies, also co-posted with the Committee of the Whole.
And co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. Any further discussion?
Yes, thank you, President Brosnowski. So this was proposed by Councilor Madore a couple of years ago. The last time we had discussions about this in OLA was, I believe, later in the year in 2022. And the reason I want to bring this up again is I really think that we need to have a broad discussion about not only very specific uses for home occupation, but to really flesh this out. So currently in our Code of Ordinances regarding to an accessory use of home occupation, a resident is not allowed to commercially create anything in their home. This would include an artist, a sculptor, a tailor, people doing woodworking, a tutor, as well as residential kitchen, cottage food operations are also something that are not allowed. Even though, not to get in the weeds here, when it comes to cottage food operations through the state, it is allowed by the state. The state will come in and grant a permit. However, the problem stops with the City of Salem, where you would have to go through the ZBA process just to have a food cottage operation in your home. So within this ordinance, really looking forward to fleshing out the details, but we have specific uses here. And I think this is important because a lot of these uses are reasonable, and it really spells out what you can do as a home-based business. Furthermore, after just looking at the data, because I know there's a couple data-driven people here, I've identified 38 environmental justice communities, and 18 of those fall within the populations of 35,000 to 65,000. Within 18 of those, 13 already have home occupation. This is important to note because we have not seen a major, you could say, concern with other communities having home occupation on their books. The other reason I really want to make sure we address this is that if we have specific uses, this will definitely benefit the economically disadvantaged residents of the City of Salem. Because currently, right now, written in our Code of Ordinances with home occupation, you can really only be
a home-based accountant, an attorney, nothing that you could tangibly create, which to me is a concern. So looking forward to the robust conversation with the OLA chair and the OLA committee about how we can continue to see how this could work for the city of Salem. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Councilor Davis.
Thank you, President Prosnowski. Just wanted to quickly say that I enthusiastically support this. You know, I see this as a really important thing we can do from an economic justice perspective. Essentially requiring folks to have a brick and mortar storefront in order to start a business, I think is far too restrictive. You know, acquiring that is quite a you know, investment, and I think bars far too many from entry. So excited for the discussion. Thank you.
Any further discussion? On Councilor Varela's motion that the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss the draft home occupation zoning ordinance. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Marcello.
Thank you, President. I have a late file. Ordered that the Chief of Police submit a report to the City Council and the School Committee containing data regarding the number of enforcement tickets mailed, the number appealed, and the outcome of the appeal, and the number of flagged violations that were not enforceable with the reason. This report shall be submitted 6 months after the start of the video enforcement and 12 months after for discussion in the Committee of the Whole. And I move that this be referred to the Committee of the Whole.
Councilor Marcello moves that because this is a late file.
There's no discussion.
There's no discussion. All those in favor of Councilor Marcello's motion for the data necessary from the Salem Police Department for the data that's to be collected on the school buses and other matters. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carries. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Stott.
Thank you, President Prosnowski. City of Salem and City Council, January 23rd, 2025, ordered that the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to review school committee compensation, City of Salem Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Article 4, Division 11, School Committee, Section 2-142 compensation, and that a recommendation be reported to the council no later than the first meeting in May per city ordinance, and that the Human Resources Director shall survey the surrounding cities and towns as well as cities and towns of similar size and report said information to committee. I move for adoption.
Councilor Stott moves the matter of the school committee compensation be sent to the committees of administrative and finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Committee reports. Councilor Hapworth.
Mr. President, City of Salem and City Council, January 23rd, 2025. Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of granting certain licenses, junk dealer or secondhand valuables, secondhand clothing, seaworms, has considered said matter and would recommend the licenses be granted.
All those in favor of the acceptance of the report? And the discussion.
We had a very spirited discussion about seaworms. I'm just kidding, no discussion.
Further discussion. Councilor Cohen.
Thank you. And thank you, Chair Hapworth. I've never spoken about seaworms before, and I'm not going to today, but I am going to say that I've never actually spoken about the other things, but I do want to let people know that Record Exchange just turned 50. And if you haven't been, you don't even have to like music. It is like the record store that everyone envisions, and it's a really cool place, and the people there are awesome. So I invite everyone to go. And to do Tadang, which is actually in Ward 2, is a really great store that does estate sales. They actually did my mom's, and they do a lot of great work, and they're really good people as well. So I've never spoken about these things, but please go to the record exchange when you're bored.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. On the matter of granting certain licenses, all those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further committee reports. Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that council rule number 36, we take out of council order number 578 relative to public guides, renewals, come out of government services. This requires a 2/3 vote. I guess we can put this under discussion.
Councilor Hapworth moves that the granting of certain licenses, which would be the tour guide licenses in this matter, be brought forward in tonight's meeting under discussion. Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the tour guide licenses, which we extended on the last meeting. The last meeting in December, we extended forward to February 1st. We didn't extend it. We put it into government services with the intention that it would be extended. That we are now coming up on February 1st. We have approval now as of 11:50 a.m. We have approval from the city solicitor on these new licenses, so this will come back before the council. But what we're trying to do is push it out to February 28th, 2025, just to give guides time to put those applications in.
On the motion by Councilor Hapworth that the meeting on February 28th have the discussion on the extension of the tour guide.
I'm sorry. I should clarify. I should clarify what the motion is. The motion is to extend the tour guide licenses from 2024 until February 28th, 2025.
On the motion to extend this to February 28th, 2025. Any other further discussion?
We have to, I'm sorry, I think what you're asking is we have to vote on taking this out of committee. So we need a 2/3 vote first to take this out of committee, and then we can vote on the motion that I made. Confusion is all on my part, not on yours, Mr. President.
Would that be done by roll call vote or by a show of hands, Madam Clerk? Okay. On the motion by Councilor Hapworth that this be taken. Yes. Before we take the vote, that it be taken out of committee under discussion. Councilor Watson-Felds.
Thank you, President Presniewski. This is procedurally wild, so I appreciate everyone helping me understand where we're at. Through you, question to Councilor Hapworth. I guess just a point of clarification. So the fees we all voted on increasing in 2024 have not yet begun to be collected because we are essentially voting to extend the start date for those. Is that correct?
Point of order. I think we need to pull it out of committee before we discuss what we're trying to do here.
But, okay, fine.
Yep. All we're doing.
We can
pull it out of
we
committee.
can put it back in.
Yeah, we'll put it back in if we need to. Thank you.
Councilor Varela.
I'm requesting a roll call vote for this.
Is that a separate motion, Madam Clerk, for a roll call vote, or can that be?
3 hands.
I see 3 hands for a roll call vote. Okay, this will be a roll call vote. Under further discussion on the matter of taking it out of committee, Councilor Stott.
Thank you, President Presniewski. Could we just have the order that's in committee? It was a late file last time, so I actually didn't even catch it. So I don't even know what we're pulling out of committee. Could we just have that repeated, please?
Yes. Councilor Hapworth.
So the order was that a grace period be given to public guides for renewals until February 1st, 2025, until the new applications and badges are finalized. Public guides currently licensed in 2024 may give tours in January 2025 using their 2024 badge. So this is what, again, my fault on the confusion here. This is what we are extending until February 28th, 2024. But the vote before us right now is just to pull this out of committee, which is currently in government services.
Point of clarification. The tour guides right now are running on licenses that had expired in January, but because we haven't set the new rate, they are still running on their licenses until the rate was set, which is going to be discussed on February 20.
Because the new applications had not yet until 11:50 today had not yet been approved by the city solicitor.
So, right, so we are pulling this out of committee to have that discussion on February 28th.
Yep.
Everybody understand? Any further questions around the discussion? Okay, on Councilor Hapworth's motion that this be pulled out of committee, the tour guide license fees and expiration dates be pulled out of committee and discussed on February 28th. She's making sense. Okay. Let's take the roll call vote to pull it out of committee tonight. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Council Watson-Felt.
Yes.
Council Varela.
Sure, yes.
Council Stott.
Yes.
Council Marcillo.
Yes.
Council Merkel.
Yes.
Council Jerslow.
Yes.
Council Harvey.
Yes.
Council Hapworth.
Yes.
Council Davis.
Yes.
Council Cohen.
Yes.
And Council Presnewski.
Yes. Okay, so we are all unanimous on pulling this out of committee, out of the committee to be discussed tonight. Boy, we are making something simple very confusing. Under discussion, Councilor Hapworth?
Yeah, so just once again, this is, we read this order. This was taking the 2024 badges, extending them forward until February 1st to allow the clerk's office and the city solicitor to get the new badge process moving. Those badges have been approved by the solicitor as of 11:50 today. So we are ready to start moving forward with the applications, which can come back before the council at our next meeting. We just need a little more time to allow people to fill those applications out. Is there anything else I should add, Madam City Clerk?
If I may, we're going,
Suspend the rules to allow the city clerk to speak.
just so you know, that we will be emailing this new application to any and all public guards that we have emails for, and anybody that we don't, we will be sending them in the mail to those that we don't have emails for, just so they will get them as soon as possible. And then we will start taking them in and collecting the new revenues for the year. And posting it on the website as well.
Councilor Watson-Felt.
I have questions.
Sure.
So does this then retroactively set their renewal date, which is annual, still to their original January date? Or do they now all basically get a free month and they'll be on a February to February cycle?
All licenses expire December 31st. It will still expire December 31st, and we're not losing money. You're still collecting the same fee that we would collect whether it was.
And no effect on the new administrative process, which is an annual renewal cycle.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. And just
the badges have changed too.
Excellent. And no discussion whatsoever of like skimming off cents and dollars because there's now been a month or anything crazy like that. No craziness, right? We're just pushing it to the end of February, starting fresh and new, going forward with original plans and agreed upon in this chamber with a December 31, 2025 expiration.
Correct.
Thank you so much, my friend.
You're very welcome.
For the record, on the first, motion by Councilor Varela that this be a roll call vote. Just let it be known that we all voted unanimously, 11-0 to pull it out of committee. On the motion by Councilor Hapworth to bring this forward, this matter on the tour guides forward to February 28th. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Communications from city officials? None? Petitions?
We have a list of taxi operators.
Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move these be granted.
Councilor Hapworth moves that they be granted. Under discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion. All those in favor of Council Hapworth's motion to grant these taxi operators license? Those in favor, all those opposed? Being none, matter carries. Councilor Hapworth. I'm sorry, further petitions.
We have the following license applications for secondhand clothing and secondhand valuables.
Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to refer to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Councilor Hapworth requests that this be moved to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. Under discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion. All those in favor of this matter be moved to Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs? All those opposed? Seeing none, matter carries. Further petitions.
We have a long list of drain layer contract operator license applications.
Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move these be granted.
Councilor Hapworth moves that they be granted. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Councilor Hapworth moves that the list of drain layer contract operators licenses be granted. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Further petitions.
We have 3 claims and 2 subrogated claims.
Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to refer to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs.
Councilor Hapworth moves that this matter be referred to Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs. Any discussion?
No discussion.
Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? Granted. Further petitions.
We have 2 drain layer bonds.
Councilor Hapworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to refer to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs and return
Councilor.
approved.
Councilor Hapworth moves that it be moved to the matter be moved to the Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs and return moved. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Seeing no discussion, all those in favor? All those opposed? Seeing none, matter carries. Unfinished business.
We have a second passage of an ordinance amending Traffic Chapter 42, Section 10 and 51 relative to Pioneer Terrace and Lafayette Place.
Councilor Cohen.
Move adoption for second passage.
Councilor Cohen moves for adoption by second passage. Under discussion. Seeing none, on Councilor Cohen's motion that the changes to Pioneer Terrace be adopted. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter granted. Further unfinished business.
We have a second passage of an ordinance relative to Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking, Jefferson Ave.
Councilor Varela.
Thank you, President President. I move for second and final passage.
Councilor Varela moves for second passage of the handicap zone on Jefferson Avenue. Under discussion. No discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Matter carries. Councilor Marcillo.
Thank you, President. I move for adjournment.
Councilor Marcillo moves for adjournment. All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you. Matter carries. Good night, everyone. No personal privilege.